Wrap every Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. 2 exciting hours of pure exciting sports talk. The experts are in the house. Sports Wrap every Thursday evening, only on the big station, only on Q95. Lock it in.
Tarsiano. Terrific starting position that time from the Huzzy, the goalkeeper. Huzzy. Daddy linked with her. Goes the right back. So well there. Get down quickly. One time for Nigeria to level it. Thrown the moment from the first half it would be. Ajibade trying to drive the right through the middle. The rules come up worse here. Big move, watching. On the move again. Quite 45 minutes, well, indeed 7 minutes in total of additional time.
On delay. Check out the Martin goal, which was through that front side. These 2 guys down on the defender Tarsian. That was the goal. Definitely worth another look. First touch off the far. Exactly where she wanted to. The wouldn't smile.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Was raised. She was diving in.
Where in Roseau, she must at least you can just
The door to one of the great debates now, aren't we?
stay and even enjoy retail. It's at AC Shillingford. All chicken are available or fresh breast. And you know breast is the best. Shillingford wings have muscle. After you eat it, you can fly. As for Shillingford chicken drumsticks, even swinging stars just order drumsticks from Shillingford. And for those of you who love Risapul, AC Shillingford keeps your belly full. Buy your chicken wholesale at AC Shillingford. From wings to thighs to drums to breasts to backs to necks. It's available. It's always available and it's affordable. Plus, you've got pork feet, ham and turkey, bull foot, chicken nuggets, pepperoni, all those right seasonings to make your kitchen keep on ticking. Buy your wholesale chicken at AC Shillingford. When you
Okay, good evening and welcome to your Good evening, and welcome to your favorite sports program on a Thursday night, the biggest in the Caribbean. Good night, I'm Lockhart Sebastian, and together with me is,
Thompson Fontaine.
yes, Dr. Fontaine. We haven't seen Emmanuel Loblack, and Ron Lander won't be with us tonight. He's in a CO, not the kind of CO the other people have it, but he's at some CO right now, so he won't be with us tonight. But tonight we'll have a lovely program. We're going to talk about football. We will have the noticed journalist from Jamaica, Leighton Levy, who will be discussing with us about the Olympics. He's an expert in track and field. So we're going to be quizzing him, and he'll tell us about the expectations for this Olympics. Obviously, we're going to be talking about cricket, Dr. Fontaine. We're going to be talking about cricket tonight because
Yes,
starts the third and final test tomorrow. We see, in fact,
that's right.
Dr. Fontaine, we see what? Well, St. Clair's injured, you know? St. Clair?
Yes, yes, he is, and in fact, he's been replaced.
Yeah, he has a broken hand. You remember when he got hit, the appeal, and
Oh,
apparently,
he's hand broke.
he has a broken hand. Yeah, he's broken hand. He's up. And Shamal Joseph, not sure he's going to play tomorrow. He has the flu, so they brought in Jordan as cover. Jordan from Barbados, so he's there
Yes,
as cover in case Joseph is not fit for tomorrow. And the spinner is back. Moti is back in the squad. So it's going to be very interesting. England have
yeah,
kept
but I thought they brought in Jordan for Louis.
no. Well, Jordan is in the 12th now because Joseph is not. He has the flu, so he's not sure if he's going to play tomorrow.
Oh,
he's
so they brought him into the 12. Okay,
he's in,
okay,
they've named 12 people. 12
right,
people.
right,
So,
okay.
so that's what's
So
happening.
Louis could have gotten his chance.
Yes, if he was, but he has hamstring
Yeah.
problem. He has hamstring problem. So yes, so it's gonna be interesting, and yeah, that's how it is. So nice program for you tonight. I say we haven't seen Lobby. We don't know what's up. I don't know if he's listening to there's this ordination of the bishop, Dr. Fontaine, currently going on at the Fair Lady of Fairhaven or whatever it is, the name they call it, down at close to this the St. Mary's Academy. It's currently going on.
Cathedral.
The cathedral, right? Yeah, it's currently going on. So that is why. You know, Dr. Fontaine, I was surprised for you. A young lady I met today, and I said I would give her a call, bring her on live. You'd be surprised when she comes on. I'm not going to call her name. When you hear her voice, you will know. So it's a surprise for you. I met her at the bank, in fact, and we spoke, and I told her we will bring her on for a few minutes tonight to just have a little discussion with her and see how she feels. So that I met her. So I hope we have an interesting 10 minutes with her and see how it goes, because
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
so
I think I suspect who that is, but I'll wait patiently.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you see, this young lady is a lioness, and we have to give her props. She has achieved a big feat,
Absolutely.
and we have to congratulate her. I think she's on the line with us now. Good night, Mrs. Sanford. How are you?
Good night. I'm fine, thank you. And good night to your listeners.
And Dr. Fontaine is with me as well. He's on as well. I'm sure he's elated to hear your voice. In fact, he didn't know. I kept it as a surprise. First thing, I want to congratulate you. As I told him, I met you today, gave you a little kiss, and I congratulated you. I think what you did is remarkable. I mean, it's like, how would say, David against Goliath. And congratulations to you, my dear. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, how were you able to pull that out against maybe what people might think, against all the odds?
Well, there are many factors that came into play. Firstly, my track record. I have been with the community. I've been doing a lot of work within the community. And I have touched many lives, both the young people, the elderlies, people across the community. Secondly, throughout the campaign, I believe our messaging was very good. We try to push unity. We try to push our plans and development for the community. And I think that went very well. So while my opponents were trying to target me and destroy me and tell a lot of lies about me, we just focused on what we wanted to do for the Kalinago people and how we were going to achieve it. And thirdly, I think that just the organization, being more organized, getting things in place, really helped pull out a good campaign and winning the hearts and minds of the Kalinago people.
Yes. Dr. Fontaine, I'm sure you want to ask a question.
Oh, absolutely, and also to say congratulations as well, Annette. It's been a really fantastic, victory and doing great. But just tell us how do you feel it's been the first, as far as we can ascertain, the first female Kalinago chief, and probably some of the probably, if you can, as far as you can tell us, some of the things you would like to see happen within the Kalinago territory.
Yeah. Well, I have always been passionate about gender equality, and for me, being a first female is not such a big thing to me. It to me is just about inspiring younger women to take up roles and to be leaders in their community. If you look at the Kalinago territory right now, we do have women, but sometimes they're afraid to put their best foot forward. And I think that this milestone that I've achieved will help them to, step up and try to reach their fullest potential, not be discouraged by what people say about them or the challenges that they face or the roadblocks that they meet, but to keep on pushing and to keep focused on their goals so that they can achieve their dreams and their objectives in life.
Annette, there's something I saw today, and I was a bit curious. I saw this message that came out that the WASCO are going to be coming to the territory on Saturday to collect water rates. I mean, I find it a bit strange. I mean, is that something that happens all the time, or is this something new?
From what I understand, there were discussions before with the Kalinago people about the water situation in the territory. I would definitely have to meet with the current chief and consul, the former chief and the former consulars, to find out what really happened during those meetings, what decision they came to, and then, of course, I am hoping to sit with the WASCO, with the new consul, and discuss a way forward for the Kalinago people. It's something new. I saw the ad, I saw the promotion, but to be honest with you, I didn't know that they were planning to have payments being done in the territory beforehand. So that is something I need to really find out from the chief and, the former chief and the former consulars to see if that was something that they arranged to have happened. And then, of course, because of the situation within the Kalinago territory, we do know that a lot of the people will not be able to meet some of the expenses, and we would have to perhaps look at all the negotiations again and sit and discuss the way forward with the water issue in the territory. I am definitely looking forward to meeting with them and to have a discussion on how we can come to terms of making the water situation and the payment of bills something that every Kalinago person will be able to do and to benefit the entire community.
Annette, some people get confused with the Carib chief and the council. I myself, how does it really work? So is there going to be a separate election for the councillors?
Yes. So today there was nominations for councillors.
Right.
So we have an election for the Kalinago chief, and then we have an election as well for councillors to represent on the council to help serve with the chief. So I think the election is going to be somewhere on the 17th, and then whoever wins, we're going to have 6 of them who will win, and they will be working with me on behalf of the community.
So tell me, so you all have one office, the Carib chief and the councillors, or you have a separate office?
It's separate office, but with different responsibilities, but they work together. It's it's under the local government branch, just as the other councils around Dominica. So we have a chairperson and councillors. But what makes it different for the Kalinago territory is that we are governed by a Kalinago Act, which gives the chief more autonomy to do decisions, to create bylaws and all of that. So that makes us a little different from the other councils around Dominica.
Dr. Fontaine, any more questions?
And then, yes, and then also in terms of the period of time that you can serve, how long is that? Is that 3 or 5 years? How long is it?
Can you please repeat the question? I didn't hear
Yeah,
you.
the question is, how long is the term until the next election? How long can you serve until the next election?
5 years. 5 years. We serve
It's a
5 years.
5-year period.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was a much shorter period. I didn't realize it was all that. So that's good. That's good. And in terms of what are you looking for, and in terms of not to tell us your plans, but just to give us a general sense as to some of the major areas you'll be looking at in terms of the next 5 years.
Well, like all Dominicans, we know that Dominica is suffering from a very bad economy, and I am really hoping to find ways in which my community can produce more. And we'll be looking at agriculture, we'll be looking at the fishing industry. As you know, the Kalinago people were farmers, they were fishermen, and we have to find ways to help them build on that foundation. So going back to the soil, going back to the land, producing food, but not only producing the food, but processing products out of this food, as well as to empower the fishermen to be able to get more from fishing. And looking at other things like aquaponics, I believe will definitely be a push for especially the younger generation who want to get into technology and all of that. So I am looking at agriculture and fishing for helping with the economy, as well as empowering small businesses, finding ways in which our small business across the territory can expand, can grow, and can be more productive. Upgrading our tourism sites to not just be a site, but an area where people can actually have an experience. Most of the time, for example, we have the Barana Ote, beautiful structure, very well designed, but when a tourist comes, they want just more than just a structure. They would want to experience something of the indigenous culture. So yes, they look at the dances, but perhaps get a little more engaged in the cassava making, get a little more engaged in perhaps demonstration on how to fish and these kinds of things. So these are just a few things that I'm looking at. And there are many other sectors, of course. All the other sectors need some improvement, education, even sports. You all know that sports is a big thing in the Kalinago territory. We have very talented sportsmen and sportswomen who have done well on a national level. And I'll be looking forward to working with the young people to see how we can help empower them to not just make it to the national teams, but to make it big on an international level.
Yes. So, well, Annette, I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you too long. I'm happy you could have joined us. I'm sure Dr. Fontaine himself is elated. And we wish you all the best. I know you will work hard. I mean, what you have achieved is a big feat against all the odds. All these people, we know everything they would have put in the territory to ensure that you didn't win. And it's a remarkable victory for you. So we want to, on behalf of Sports Wrap, I want to congratulate you again. And I'm sure at some point again, we'll probably call you again to have us join us in the program. So I just want to say thanks.
Problem.
All right.
Yes. Thank you for having me. And thank you for the congratulatory messages. I really appreciate it. And have yourself a very good evening. And good evening to all your listeners. And thank you all so much for the support. The support has been island-wide. Thank you very much for being with me. And I promise that I will do my best. I'm a hard worker, and I will put my best foot forward.
Yes, thank you, darling. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Annette. It is truly remarkable when you have a vision for the territory and to think of the kind of effort that went against someone like that
You know what I'm saying? Sybil,
Yeah.
it's really unfortunate,
Mhm.
We have a vision for the territory, and she will do a great job. She has a tremendous amount of goodwill already.
Mhm.
I'm sure people from across, not only Dominica, across the region and elsewhere have been calling in, congratulating, and people are willing to help and to assist the Kalinago territory. Yet we saw this tremendous effort to not have someone like that who has so much to offer to our
Mhm.
community. It's really unfortunate that we have such divisive type of politics in Dominica that would work against such a talent, such an
Mhm.
excellent gifted and committed and capable individual to do something great for for constituents and for people. And yet every effort was made to prevent her from winning, but we are thankful that she was able to get through against all the odds. And I'm sure she will do a remarkable job, for the Kalinago territory and for Dominica by extension.
But again, it's how she won, Dr. Fountain. She beat everybody combined, all the other people combined. She still won over them. That is, by the way, sorry, Lobby. Lobby, we have now been joined by Lobby. Lobby, I thought you were in a CO somewhere, man. We were wondering what's happening with you, like
No,
London.
see, what Sebastian, that's not in my DNA. I'm not
Okay.
so.
Hold on, we have a caller. Hold on.
I'm more constructive than that.
Okay, let's take this caller. Good evening. Okay, we lost the caller. Yeah, because I know Landa is in some seawall now. So it's not the odd seawall like the other people having, but I mean, it's in some seawall. The caller is back. Let's take the caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Thibault, and anybody you have here with you.
Well, Dr. Fountain is there, Lobby is there, Lambi is there. So,
Oh, yeah, good evening to both of them, Dr. Fountain
yes.
and Logie.
Yes.
Yes, good
I
evening.
thought she was in there, nurse was in there with you.
No. I met her today and I asked her, I spoke to her.
Okay.
So she was willing to join us by phone for a few minutes because she has a lot of work to do. She has to go to Parliament tomorrow, in fact.
Yeah.
So she has.
That is my darling. I congratulate her already, but I personally I wanted to talk to her. So let me tell you a simple question I want to ask. I don't know. Do the carriage chief get a salary and from who?
Yes, for sure. The government has to pay her. Yeah, she has to she gets her salary every month. Yeah.
I hope.
Well, not hope. She has to get a salary. She
That's
has
that's by law.
Yeah. She has every month. She has to get a salary every month. Yeah. I mean, this lady is a remarkable feat to what she did. I mean, everybody else come. In fact, there were relatives of some people high in society here, and she still beat them. I mean, and we know obviously they would have been pushing whatever they were pushing up there to try and not have a win. She lost by 3 votes, and she was determined this time that she would have won, and she really won.
Because you see, Thibault, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah. Well, that is a sign, Lobby. It is a sign that people must understand now. You cannot go on doing nonsense, and that is why, and I'm stressed to Dr. Fountain, right now is to push. You're the leader of the party. We've seen what's happening. People are fed up, and action has to be taken now.
I agree with you.
Yeah, people are fed up. I mean, how long can you go on with that? 20 years, and it's getting worse. People the standard of living has gone down. People are suffering. No, man, that can't go on. That can't go at all. I mean, it has to be stopped, honestly. It has to be stopped. So I'm happy for her. I'm happy for the young lady, and I hope that she will go, as they say, from strength to strength. That's what I hope.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Well, Lobby, tonight we're going to have Little Levy will join us at 6:45. The Jamaican track and field expert. It's going to be with us for a little while to talk about the Olympics, which starts actually the opening ceremony is tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow.
Why are you talking about the Olympics? The Olympics. I was a bit surprised when I saw Dominica, 4 athletes representing Dominica in Paris. I was very much surprised, gentlemen. This is something, I've always spoken about, for today. Do you remember this problem we had with the Winter Olympic Games?
Mm-hmm.
Where the man overnight came from nowhere to represent Dominica, and that was a fiasco. What I'm saying is this. I'm saying this. You have two swimmers. Am I correct?
Supposed to. Well, it's two of them. They have 2 swimmers, and Luke and
right.
What's the name? Fialafa.
Because what I find funny, I'm going to say, first question I want to ask: is there an active swimming association?
Well,
First of all,
I should be asking you that. You're an
okay,
athletic
no,
man.
Sibo, I'm not, because that's the first question you have to ask whether there's an active swimming association. Because we had you had the World Championship in Europe recently. We didn't there wasn't any representation from Dominica. All the athletes, that was this is a stepping stone, a yardstick, to prepare yourself for the Olympic Games and the World Championship. Suddenly, this thing I don't like, this overnight athletes coming overnight, and we're just accepting them. All right? It is not listen, Sebastian, that's that
But
problem.
you know something, Lobby, you're an athletics man. Dr. Funky, what I found strange, when I heard the call and they're saying that Fia Laffer is the coach of the athletics team. What has happened to our coaches here? Why is she like she's the guy's Fia's coach, but how can he be the coach of the team?
I haven't got no problem with that, Sebastian, because
well, that's what I'm asking you. I don't know.
No, I haven't got any problem with this because he has been the one who has been with her for a very long time.
No, not her. He's the overall coach. That's the point I'm making.
Well.
Why is he the overall coach?
First of all, there's also, Sebastian, a quota at these games in terms of your delegation. All right, your delegation. So that had to happen. But coming back on the swimming.
When you say a quota, what you mean? Explain.
No, we have in terms of how big your group can be. If you have 4 athletes, there are so many officials you can have.
Okay.
Yeah. You just cannot. It's not
because I know Jamaica have about 10 officials.
You just can't bring who you want to know. It's not so at the games. So, Sibo, coming back on the swimming, my problem with that swimming, first of all, as I said last week, the Olympic Committee, Sebastian, is not an association. It's a facilitator. All right? They are there on whims and fancies of all the associations. It's every association is your duty to work together with the Olympic Committee in preparation for the Olympic Games. So I am certainly sure, Sebastian, that their questions must be asked. Must be asked why we haven't got a swimming association and how these 2 athletes were able, all right, to represent Dominica.
Well,
it is not the duty of the Olympic Committee to take on their own. They can't take on, on their own. It has to come from the association.
But as far as I know, we have had swimmers representatives before.
We had an active association. You had an active association, bro. I can remember that.
I'm not sure,
people like Jenny Alport? People like Jenny Alport?
I was curious though, because Lawrence, the original swimmer was also Woody Lawrence. Is he related to Woody? Because Woody was one of
I think it's his son or something. Is it the person's son or something?
It's probably his son because he was the Olympian who represented
because Woody used to be in swimming. Then he moved to some other sport, So I do not really understand what is happening. So questions, I'm going to say a member of the Olympic Committee must answer questions. They have to answer questions. Sebastian.
Well, yeah. When they come back, we probably can find out. When they
come, even now, you can call on the association. Any member and ask them how come.
But most of the association, you don't even hear who are the other people.
You have to ask.
Yes, but then also for the Olympic Committee itself to be recognized, these associations must be functioning. So I would assume it's probably functioning, man. Well, you probably have not heard about it. Because I know, for example, Miss Pringle was very much instrumental in that as well a few years ago. So I suspect they're probably there.
But Fontaine, I know the swimming association is very inactive. It's like I'm telling you about that. It is more. It's inactive. So when I saw 2 swimmers, I was shocked. I was really shocked because listen to me. All the other islands, for example, they have, for example, like if they have swimmers. I know they are swimmers, and you have a report. You have the association. This swimmer from this in St. Lucia, Trinidad, Jamaica, Baby. They have, and you will hear these people what they are doing. We haven't heard anything. you'd hear about Fear, you hear about Dick, about Denick Look, but you have never heard anything, Sebastian or Dr. Fountain. Have you heard anything since you started?
Well, I don't even know these people, honestly. No, if you ask me, I don't even know them. To be honest, that's why I'm depending on somebody like you involved. I don't know them.
Sebastian, I am listening.
Well, but Emmanuel, let's at least wish them well.
Yes,
I mean, the organization part is one thing.
You can only
wish. Dr. Fountain speaking. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm saying that. Yeah, I understand the questions raised, but at the same time, they have been accepted as part of the official Dominica delegation. So let's wish them well. Let's also wish Fear well, because I think we are on the cusp of getting our first Olympic medal. I think Fear is definitely there in contention. I think her biggest competition, Emmanuel, you may agree with me, is this jumper from Cuba.
And the Jamaican girl. The Jamaican girl, Dr. Fountain.
Right now,
and the Venezuelan too.
No, the Venezuelan is not competing. The Venezuelan is not there.
She's good.
She's not there. No. She has an injury.
Rojas, you mean Rojas?
Yeah,
Rojas has an injury. So she is out. So it means that it's a wide open field now.
Well, you have the Jamaican girl as well, right?
With the very best. Yes. Yeah. Well, it's the three of them. It's between Tia, the Jamaican, and the Cuban.
No, and there's also there are two European. Right now, Fear going into the games, Olympic Games. She's ranked number 4. She's ranked number 4, just ranked. Okay. But when we start on the day, everybody starts at 0. As I'm 0.
Well, guys, we have to take our first break here because we have to talk about football, and then we go to be discussing
Olympics. It takes one jump. It takes one jump.
Half an hour. So
that's next Friday, Emmanuel. Next Friday.
I know. Next Friday.
I think the final of that is on the 3rd, isn't it? Of the
yes, but the initial hits, initial qualifiers is next Friday.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Before we take our first break, let me just say good night to all the fans of Aussie, some of them who Aussie used to call. By the way, Donald, good night. Claudia, good night as well. Don Sims, we have to say good night to all these people, all our fans all about the place. Sometimes we don't have time to call them. Zay Manuel, people like Wadix. Good night to you guys. So we take our first break now.
Where in Roseau, Kimashadis, you can just walk in and order all your chicken parts, wholesale, and even enjoy retail. It's at AC Shillingford, all chicken parts available that you can afford fresh breast. And you know breast is best. Shillingford wings have muscle. After you eat it, you can fly. As for Shillingford chicken drumsticks, even swinging stars just order drumsticks from Shillingford. And for those of you who love Resap, Shillingford keeps your belly full. Buy your chicken wholesale at AC Shillingford. From wings to thighs to drums to breasts to backs to necks. It's available. It's always available and it's affordable. Plus, you've got pork feet, ham and turkey, bull foot, chicken nuggets, pepperoni, all those right seasonings to make your kitchen keep on ticking. Buy your wholesale chicken at AC Shillingford. When you think of chicken, think of AC Shillingford. Always fresh.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
When you want the best, what you do? Shop at the CN. Better than the rest. Shop at the CN. And they all confess. Shop at the CN. You get more for what they say. Shop at the CN. Shop at SES. Yeah. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. What they say? Shop at SES. SES family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our prices, they are the nicest. Madam and Monsieur, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SES. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SES. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side, what? Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose. The New India Insurance Company has reopened its doors in Portsmouth, offering the same great services you get in Roseau. Motor vehicle insurance, home and business owners, fire and related perils, public liability, and so much more. Come, visit us today for insurance with a personal touch on Bay Street, Portsmouth, or call us at 445-4023. We are ready to serve you. Dominicans, insure your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, insure your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
Okay, we are back and we have with us the PR of the Football Association. We haven't spoken to him for a while. Mr. Ebby Lawrence, good night, sir.
Good night, Mr. Sebastian. Good night to the listeners of Q95. Good night, everybody.
Well, Dr. Fountain is here, your boy Lobby is here as well, eh? By the way, your
good
boy.
Night, Dr. Fountain. Good night, Lobby. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
All right, all is good. Doing well. Good to have you.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that you are still the PRO.
Well, Lobby, the funny thing about it, Lobby, it's not by mere man's design. God chose that for such a time.
Well, Eddie, you had football last weekend, interesting football, I think. I mean, you into the finals now or semi-finals you had of the President's Cup? Is that what you had?
Yes, we had the President's Cup last weekend at the stadium, the quarterfinals, and we are hoping that the semi-finals and the finals will be held at the stadium. Mm-hmm. We will see Southwest coming up against Harlem and Dubla coming up against Reunited in the semi-finals. Mm-hmm. So that will be determined. As soon as Dubla returns on Ireland, mm-hmm. because as you know, Dubla is participating in the Caribbean Cup in Curacao.
Mm-hmm. So listen, so you will play both semi-finals on the same day?
No, one will play on Saturday, one will play on Sunday because of the lighting at the Windsor Park. Although we would wish that both would have played at the same time.
You mean the lack of lighting, you mean? The lack of lighting?
Yes, the lack of lighting in the stadium, for want of a better word,
mm-hmm.
would not permit us to have it the same day. But nonetheless, we will see one on Saturday and one on Sunday near the ending of the month.
So how did the quarterfinal matches go then?
Well, actually, it was interesting, you know, because Southeast played LA Stars. LA Stars was the only First Division game team standing. Southeast won them. And Reunited came on Sunday behind and knocked out Roosevelt Scarlet Bombers. And as we know, Dubla has been showing that great speed and tenacity. And they defeated their opponent as well. So hence, 7-6-7 lost to Harlem. And we have Dubla, We United, Southeast, and Harlem being the semi-finalists for the President's Cup.
Yes, very good, very good. But Abby, you have other things this weekend. I think you have your AGM this weekend?
Yes, actually, this weekend is AGM weekend. 32 clubs will participate in this weekend's meeting. The agenda was sent to the various clubs. I guess when we meet on Saturday at 10 at the Football House, matters pertaining to football will be discussed, and every other matter that is relevant and pertinent to the club and to Dominica's football on a whole.
But what pressing matters that are up for discussion now, Abby? Can you tell us?
Well, on my part, I know the agenda was sent, but based on yesterday, I will say yesterday because I did not get communique from any club or anybody stating that. I know the Guatemala issue will come up. I know the matter of insurance will come up as well, and other little matters that the clubs see fit to discuss as to moving forward.
But have you all concluded your investigation into the Guatemala fiasco? Has that been concluded?
It is concluded. The matter right now is in the hands of the president of the DFA, who will take it from there. So the information has been given, recommendations were made, and it is left on the president of the DFA now to do what he is to do and allow the PRO or somebody else from the executive to give directions.
So that wouldn't be revealed to the general body at the meeting on Saturday if it's concluded? No?
Let us pray and hope on Saturday, if a question arises re the Guatemala issue, the answer will be given to the clubs. On Saturday, the Lord permit.
But
go ahead, Lobby.
Sebastian, that's now, and Dr. Fountain. It would be very weak on the clubs and dumb not to bring up that issue at the AGM. They should demand right there, they should pass a resolution right there that, if this thing was concluded, that this should be said at the AGM right there. There should be what is that the secrecy?
Well, I guess Lobby, they all know what to do. So we do not want it to be no contentious business. They know what to do, and we pray God that, like I said to everybody that have met me, it's not anything to be contentious about. It's to do it in a manner, again, not to promote our own fancies, but to develop the product, which is the football. The greater good in this is to develop football. And I say to many persons, and I will take the blows for it. Let's bypass egos, let's bypass emotion and look at football on a whole. What did we learn from all this? Where are we going from all this? It's not just coming and demand and say, I want ABC done, but where do we go from all this? What did we get from all this? And how do we want to see football moving forward in all what was said and done?
But
that is my take.
But something that struck me, Abby, you said everything has been concluded, and you said the president. So when didn't you all discuss it as an executive, the conclusion of the investigation?
We did.
Yeah, so in the discussion, how it is then that you all didn't say, well, we're going to bring that the president alone can decide?
No. It's not the president alone.
Right.
There were recommendations given.
Right.
And many would not know, Lobby, I do not want to make excuses for anyone. The AGM that is coming, that would be the AGM, or our first AGM actually, because we took office on the 21st of July.
Right.
2023.
Right.
Thereabouts, we took office. And I would say to persons, there were things we met that truly and really, as moving ahead, it was carved in something concrete, and it had to take some manpower and chisel to really say, if we want to see things move forward, we need to do differently. When I say the president is the one now, we recommended certain things to him that is to be done, because there are things I cannot just disclose, but Lobby, if you want other information, I know you have your ways and means of getting it. There are things that must be done, and really as the last stop, when I would say the last stop, based on what transpired, the last stop is to deal with. I will not go in full detail, but the recommendations were given, and the last stop is with him, based on the recommendations that the executive members gave.
Okay.
But Sibo,
uh-huh.
the last time that issue came about on Sports Wrap, I gathered that Eddie was on some shaky grounds in terms of divulging information to us.
No.
Well,
you see, Mr. Loblack, the thing about it is this, and I'm grateful, and I say to many persons that if it's on the executive part, something different may happen. But the funny thing, I was elected by the Congress, by the football, by the clubs, and the other ones to say, I have no confidence in you, Mr. Lawrence, so I have no confidence in the board. Hence, we are asking you all to vacate office and elect new persons. They believe and they see fit to take football forward. Other than we taking decisions on our own, it must be a collective.
Well, I have full confidence in you. I have full confidence. As I said, I think you have been forthright. You have been honest with us. You have given us information. And that's how it should be, really. That's how it should be. That's how it should be.
It should not be a back and forth thing. There is diplomacy in everything we do.
Correct.
But nonetheless, the owners, and the onus is on the president now to come to the clubs and say, upon investigation, I can, but the benefit of the doubt is given to him. Upon the investigation, ABC and D was formed. We met as an executive. ABC, D was said to me. Together we worked collectively, and this is the decision that was made for the good of football. These are the decisions going forward that we are making going forward for football. Remember, I said to the world, and I'm standing on my ground, that with me there is no secret.
True.
But for now, this is the president's own to do, and I know many are listening to see what Eddie will be saying, because sometimes you are recorded and taken out of context. But this is his domain to play, and nonetheless, we just want to see the good of football. Because, gentlemen, I'm telling you, moving forward, and if things work out how it's working, see, I can guarantee you by September, you'll be seeing a different product when it comes to the marketing of football. It will not just be me doing the talking. You can imagine working in the state college and the children doing IT and bringing some new flavor to what we do. So it's not just talking and not wanting to see things done. We want to see our athletes and even bring some people, new persons in sports journalism. How can we, as an FA, how can we, as clubs, bring a collective to have a better product? So when we fly the flag of Dominica in football, we know, guess what? Regardless of the limited resources that we do have on island, but when we come to the park, we reproduce and we showcase a talent that is beyond the measure. That is my goal for football.
Well, we look forward to that. Abby, we have to move on. Next week, obviously, we want to speak to you. We hope that the president will present to the general body the recommendation, and you will be able to tell listeners everything. So we want to thank you, and we'll be back with you next week, okay?
May the Lord bless you all and keep you all and continue to do the good work that you all are doing. Bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, now we have to move to Olympics now. And we have with us the content manager of SportsMax TV. Everybody knows about SportsMax, Dr. Fountain Lobby. And he's the track and field analyst at SportsMax. A noted guy, Leighton Levy. People who follow SportsMax, you hear him all the time. He's an expert. Very well. And I've listened to him, and he's right on with us now. Leighton, good night to you.
Hey, good evening, everyone. How are you doing, Seth? It's always a pleasure catching up with you. Of course, as I said to you before, it was a pleasure listening to you back in the days. So to be talking to you now is actually, quite my pleasure, actually, because talking to the people who you looked up to while you're coming up is always great. It's always a wonderful experience, what sports affords me to do.
Thank you. And then with me with Dr. Fountain, who's also an athletics man, and Emmanuel Loblack, who actually is a track and field coach. So I'm sure they'll have a lot of questions for you. So we're going to have an interesting half an hour because, as you know, the Olympics starts tomorrow. So we're looking forward to
the opening ceremony.
Yeah, the opening ceremony.
They have other games already held
already. Football has started.
And rugby.
Already. Yeah. So the first question I want to ask you, what are your expectations for Caribbean athletes at this year's Olympics?
I think this year could be a very good year for Caribbean athletes. Specifically, let me start with your country.
Right.
Young Tia Lafond, of course, as you know, the world indoor champion, jumping 15.01 meters last year. I think with the Cuban, that's Cuban, Venezuelan Rojas out with recovering from surgery, Achilles surgery. I think the triple jump is wide open, and I think among those who are contending for the gold medal, not just a medal, is Tia Lafond. Of course, we've seen her progress over the years, getting better gradually each year. And last year, she capped it off with a fantastic performance. Not last year, earlier this year, she capped it off with a fantastic performance at the World Indoors. That would have given her the confidence going in to these Olympic Games, knowing that she can possibly win, because 15 meters right now, without Rojas, 15 meters can win. And I think she's capable of that as well.
True.
So we're looking at Tia Lafond. Then one of the proudest moments for me in my career as a sports journalist was getting to meet a young lady from St. Lucia called Julian Alfred.
Yep.
She has every single year for the past 3 years, she's set new national standards for St. Lucia. And I think this year, St. Lucia gets their first Olympic medal. Whether it's gold, silver, or bronze, I don't think it matters much. But this is a country who has had a lot of talented athletes. I mean, in cricket, Darren Sammy et al. But for track and field, I think Julian stands literally on the cusp of doing something that no other athlete has ever done before. Because, when you look at the fact that she's 10:78, makes her the fastest Caribbean woman outside of Jamaica. The 21:86 that she ran last week is a new national record, which I think is the 4th or 5th national record she set in respective distances in the last 2 years for St. Lucia.
That's in the 200 meters. That's in the 200 meters, right?
Yes, in the 200. The 10:78 is the 100, which no other Caribbean woman outside of Jamaica has run 10:7 in the 100. Julian Alfred is the first. So you're looking at a situation where she goes into these Olympic Games right within the mix of a Sha'Carri Richardson, of a Shericka Jackson, of a Shelly and Fraser Price. I don't know if I'm getting tongue-tied this evening. You're looking at Sha'Carri Richardson. All of these athletes are right within her striking distance. And given what we saw from her last week when she ran 10:85, on heavy legs, coach, you know what it's like to train with the athletes running on heavy legs and they're dropping times like this. Once you start to taper or deload, then electricity happens.
True.
And I think Julian Alfred is on the verge of doing something really special for St. Lucia.
Look, she's a warrior.
Well, and her mentality as well. Of course, Jamaica is, 58 medals since 2000 for Jamaica tells you where Jamaica stands when it comes to track and field, especially at the Olympic Games. And I think this year we'll begin to see the transition from the old guard of the Shelly and Fraser Price, the Elaine Thompson hero, who's out because of injury, and of course, and Shericka Jackson, who turned 30 last week. So a new wave of talent coming through in the form of Akira Nugent, the second fastest in the world this year over the 100-meter hurdles, who I think will win gold in Paris, because every time she lines up beside Masaya Russell of the United States, there's only one winner. So, I think she's going to win, all things being equal. We're looking at young Jaden Hibbert, who's one of the best triple jumpers of all time. Going up in the triple jump, we're looking at a bunch of young jumpers from Jamaica in terms of Wayne Pinnock and Kieran McLeod. We're looking at
hold on, let me go on now.
Rashid Broadbell. Let me know. Rashid Broadbell and others. I think Jamaica's new wave of athletes are about to come to the fore at these Olympic Games. So the question, Sir LeBlanc.
But before you didn't talk about the Bahamas.
The triple jumper, you
Bahamas, Grenada.
No, I haven't finished it. I'm just allowing Sir LeBlanc to get to that question.
Finish off the answer and then Lobby will come on. So because I
cool.
was talking about Caribbean athletes, I asked you about.
Right, so we're looking at the Bahamas, as you suggested. Look, the last time Stephen Gardner lost a 400 race that he's completed was in the semifinals of the 400 meters at the World Championships in 2017. That's 7 years ago. And I think he's, notwithstanding the times that we've seen from Quincy, what is that? I can't remember what his name is even. The American who just won, Quincy Hall, right?
Quincy Hall.
And of course, we've seen from Matthew Hudson-Smith just a couple of days ago last weekend. I think until Stephen Gardner loses that race, is when I'm willing to say he's not going to win the gold medal in Paris this year. So I think, and of course, you're looking at the young Devin Charlton who set the world indoor record this year, 765, and looking to take that form outdoors. I think she's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the sprint hurdles as well.
True.
The worry that I have about the Bahamas is for the Shawnee Miller-Uibo. Of course, as you know, she got into the Olympics via a medical exemption because she wasn't healthy at the Bahamian trials. But I'm not quite sure if she's going to be ready to run the times required to get on the podium this time around. So anyway, but for Trinidad, everything rests for me on the shoulders of Jerry Richards for Trinidad and Tobago. 44.18 tells me that he's trending towards 44.0, maybe 43 high. If he can't produce any of those times in Paris, I think the 400 meters, he'll be on the podium. Because the 200, I think Jerry has understood over the last few years that the 200 is a little bit too fast for him now. 19.8 doesn't get you on the podium anywhere close to the podium, given what we've seen from the Americans, especially, and from the likes of Tobago and others. So you're looking at a situation where he's moved to the 400, for me, more wisely. 44.18 tells me he's in the mix. And if he's in the mix, all it needs is one solid race for him. Because when you're that consistent, as Coach Black will tell you, when you're that consistent, a big drop usually follows. And if that big drop happens, Jerry could be on the podium. Of course, Kishan is going for another Olympic medal, 2012 champion, bronze medalist in 2016. You're looking at someone who knows what it takes to get there, but that's just thing. And to be honest, along with Anderson Peters, the javelin field has come back a bit from the 90-meter throws, where I don't think we've seen a 90-meter throw all season. I think we're seeing 86 and 88, which suggests to me that if Keyshawn can get somewhere in the 86, 87 region, he might be in the hunt for the medals as well. So you're looking at a strong Caribbean representation.
Kirani James.
I didn't mention Kirani. Kirani is one of my favorite athletes. From the first time I saw him run 45, I think it was 45.16 at Character Games, and I was like, this kid is extraordinary. But I just think that this year the field is a little bit too much for him. We saw that in London when he was literally outrun down the stretch, usually the strongest part of his race in the last 150. This time he was outpaced by three other athletes, which tells me that maybe this year is going to be a bridge too far for him. I mean, as much as I'd love to see him on the podium, my common sense and my gut tells me that this is not the year for him. Similarly with Shelley-Ann Fraser-Pryce, I think, for 16 years, this girl has represented the Caribbean at the very optimal levels. In every single, she's made every single 100-meter final since 2008 at World and Olympic finals. And only one time she's failed to medal, and that was in 2011, when she had injury issues, and I think she did an appendectomy just before she went to Diego. This time, I just think there are too many people. There are too many people right now, including our own Tia Clayton here in Jamaica, who we're hearing is training extremely well and is likely to be on the podium. And we know that word coming out of Stephen Francis's camp is never one word that you take lightly. So if there's a belief that she's on the podium, certainly, who am I to disagree? And of course, Kishian Thompson. I mean, we all have seen this kid literally shut down 20 meters out around 9:77. There is no other athlete in the world so far this year who's gone that fast at sea level, because Omanyala has run 2.97s in his career, and both of them have been almost at 6,000 feet in Kenya. So whether he can do it at, I don't know what the altitude at Paris is, but I don't see him doing it. So, I'm thinking that this might be another. He gets to the final, I believe, along with Simbini and along with Tobago. But I think right now, to me, it looks like Kishian Thompson. It looks like, for me, certainly.
You think he can go past the one lines, right?
I don't think he can go past Noah Lyles. I think Noah Lyles needs to be worried about catching him. I think what we've seen from Kishian Thompson, who is just learning the 100. I think we've seen someone who's probably as closest to Bolt as we've seen since Bolt. Wow. When I saw my national championships in June, I was like, whoa, this kid is extraordinary. And he's just learning the sport because his past few years he's been injured a lot. So we haven't seen the best of him. This year, Stephen Francis got an anti-gravity machine for him to train on and to take the pressure off it, in the shin injuries that he's always had, and that he's healthy now. And the reality is that based on what we saw in our national championships, and of course in Europe, when he literally bounced to 991 and defeated a quality field, including Simbini and including Tebogo, tells me that he'll have to beat himself in Paris for him not to be on top of that podium. And of course, Oblique Seville, we know what Glenn Mills has done with Johan Blake, Warren Weir, and Usain Bolt. And what we've seen him do with Oblique Seville in the last 2 seasons. Last 2 years, he had a back situation that finally was resolved at the end of last season. Picked up an injury during the final at the national championship, but he's healthy again. And based on the videos that I've seen of him, I am thinking that Jamaica could possibly be 1-2 on the in Paris, notwithstanding what we saw Noel do the other day. 981 with a minus 0.3 win suggests that's a 979 basic. But I think Oblique Seville is in 975, they are lower shape, and I think we'll see the first 9-6 since Usain Bolt 2012.
I was about to ask you that
Kishan
because
Thompson.
I heard you in June after the Jamaican trials say that you think Kishan Thompson can run 9-6 at this Paris Olympics. I heard you say that.
I think so. I honestly believe I think he's going to run somewhere between 65 and 67. And if he does that, there'll be nobody close.
Wow. Lobby, you wanted to ask
Yes, I want to ask him with Hubert, how is he? Is he in good shape for the triple jump? Ready?
Well, Jaden picked up a slight knock at the Jamaican trial. Right. This is why he got the exemption. He jarred his knee. But as far as I know, he's fine. Actually, reached out to his coach, Trafford Gufford, today, but I haven't heard back from him. I don't know if he's traveling or they just arrived in Paris and they haven't connected to a network yet. But as far as my information is, he's okay. It's been 6 weeks since the national championship, so it was just some stiffness in his knee, I'm told. So basically,
okay.
Yeah. So assuming that he is healthy, I think he'll be on the podium as well. In fact,
obviously. What about this discus thrower?
Oh, Travis Michael?
Yeah.
Or Roger Stoner. Travis has been consistent all year, though. I don't think he's thrown under 65 all year. It's been 65 and over. I think he's thrown 67 high. The thing with the discus is that when you have Alekna and you have Gudzios and you have, all of the big throwers in the world are popping huge distances, 69 and 70. I think if Travis can I think he'll qualify for the final. But I think in the final, he'll have to throw 69 to be on the podium. Roger Stoner as well as Ranford Williams, both Ranford Mullings, all of them have thrown 69, well, except Travis. Those two have thrown 69. Whether or not this occasion is going to be too big for them, we'll see. But I think Travis's consistency gives me hope that he'll probably be a contender for medals in Paris. But I think with what we've seen from Alekna, like every single time Alekna goes out there, he throws 70 meters. You have Che, you have Gudzios and the Swedish champion, who is, so you're looking at 4 guys who are capable of throwing 70 at whim. True. Whether or not Travis can get close to that, it's yet to be seen.
But one throw, one throw takes.
I know, one throw. Yep. So that's all I need. But I said before, because he's been so consistent all year, that big throw could come in Paris. Because when Travis, somebody I've known since high school. Since he was in high school, that I was in high school time, a lot older than he is. But every time I talk to him, you get the sense that the sense of self-belief that he has this year is significantly better than in previous years.
When I first saw him, I said, "Wow, this guy going to do wonders." I look at him, his speed. I said, "Look, he's going to be a champion. He's going to take over the discus."
I think Dr. Fountain had a question for you, Leighton.
Yes. Yeah, in talking about the Caribbean athletes, I was wondering, where do you rate the Bajan athlete, Seda Williams, in the 400 meters? You think I know she won the bronze in the World Championship, I think in 2022, and she's been there and about. Do you at least expect her to be in the finals?
Yeah, she will. Listen, forgive my oversight of not mentioning Shadi, because I think Shadi we've seen from her over the last 2 years, the kind of consistency to being on the podium. That kind of consistency I don't think we've ever seen from a Bajan athlete before. back-to-back championships, and of course she's a Commonwealth champion as well. Based on what Paul Francis believes, earlier in the season when everybody was running 48s and everything, he was pretty silent and confident about her chances in Paris. And I think based on how I know their work and how I know their condition, their athletes. If you look at the last race that she ran really solidly, really well. And I think she'll be ready to run 48 in Paris. If she does that, she's on the podium. I think there are 4 women who could go 48 in Paris. I think Nikisha Price, I think Kazmarek from Poland, I think Liki Klava from Netherlands, and I think Shade Williams from Barbados are the 4 that I think are capable. Paulina for me is probably the most dangerous.
Paulina.
From Dominican Republic. She's a fierce competitor. And she's run 48.7 before, that's her PB. She's run 49.2 this year, which tells me that she's trending towards a sub 49 time in Paris. So I think it's going to be a bang up, but I truly believe when I spoke with Chris Johnson after Nikisha ran 48.89 at the NCAA finals, he said she hadn't peaked yet. And then she comes out the first race after that and runs 48.57, which is a new national record, by the way. She's the only Jamaican woman ever to go under 49 seconds.
Right.
And if she runs 48.57 a week out from the Olympic Games, tells me that she's possibly ready to run even faster, maybe 48.2. The Olympic record, I think, is 48.24, right? Marie-Jose Perec, I think. If she runs anywhere close to that, she'll win the gold medal. But of course, she has to run it, because everything is always... Everything is clear on paper, but you have to run the races. So if she can deliver what Chris Johnson expects her to deliver, she'll definitely be on the podium. And most likely, if she continues along the current trend, she'll be on top of the podium.
Just to talk what Dr. Fontaine spoke about, the Williams. I've looked at Williams, and my problem with her is her technique.
Yeah.
If you look at her technique, the last 100 meters. If she can improve on her running technique, I am not satisfied. She has a lot of potential. She's strong. She has a lot of heart, but she has to improve on the technique. But I
I agree with your point. The thing is this, when the bear jumps on your back in that last 80 meters of that race, it's hard to maintain that kind of form. The athletes, if you look at Stephen Gardner, for example, we mentioned earlier, one of the things that he does well is that when the pain starts to shoot through your body, you have to have the will to be able to maintain that focus. Very relaxed, maintains the form, which is why he maintains his speed for as long as he can. If Shade can learn to do that, I think she'll be a consistent 49, low 48 runner, because she set a new national record in the 200 though far this year, early in the season, which tells me that her speed has improved from previous seasons, which means that it should be easier for her to get through that first 200 and then go into the last 150 with a certain amount of, because as you know, the energy systems is where all of that matters most. You're using two to three energy systems when you're running the 400 meters, and when you come home and those cheeks start to lock.
What, the last 100?
Yeah, the last 100, and you're feeling the pain, and as my friends used to call it, the bear jumps on your back. It is the hardest thing. So I think for her it's probably more of a mentality thing where she has to learn to embrace the pain. And if she learns to embrace the pain and maintain her form, because her form over the first 300 is not bad enough. Where it breaks down is over the last 80 to 100 meters, where she really struggles to maintain that pace. And I think her form breaks down a little bit. But I think for that part of it, I think it's more mental, because I think she's strong enough. And I think she's fast enough, but it's just about to manage that pain and that discomfort over the last 80 meters or so is what makes the difference between 49 flat and 48.7, where I think that could be good enough to get you on the podium in Paris.
Let me I need to ask you something. As somebody who played sport, and something that bothered me, and I feel sorry for this young Jamaican who's been preparing for the past 4 years for the Olympics, and she's now have been left out, and the associates in Jamaica is blaming a Hurricane Beryl for not putting her name on the list to go to Paris. Can you explain to people what has happened there?
I don't think anybody can. I think it's one of the most embarrassing things I've seen. Look, this girl works hard. She trains hard. Yeah, she didn't meet the required standard, but she was in the quota at number 25 in the quota of 32. She came to the national championship and she finished second, right? Which tells so she's met all of the criteria to be at the Olympics. And then for the J3 to tell us that they left her name off and they couldn't get her name on to the email to World Athletics. So how did they get the email to World Athletics in the first place? Secondly, when I during the hurricane, I didn't lose any power. So you're telling me that they couldn't find somewhere to send an email to say, okay, we left her name off, and send the email to say, okay, we need to register her for the hammer. For me, that's not acceptable, and it's a further embarrassment for me for the J3s, because one of the things I found with the J3s over the years is that they're a little fiefdom, and they think that they are Lord unto themselves, and they can do anything and they can determine anyone's fate, and I think it's wrong, right? Because if these athletes, this is their livelihood we're talking about here, and Nyaka Clunis did enough to get to the Olympic Games, where she could have performed even better than she did earlier this year when she set the new national record of 71.83, and probably threw 73 meters or something. And a potential sponsor could probably see her, Adidas or Nike or Reebok. Somebody could see her and say, hey, maybe this girl is showing some potential. Let's give her at least a developmental contract. It's 100,000 US a year. That would make a significant difference to her in terms of her training, her nutrition, her being able to hire a physiotherapist, get a coach. So, they're denying her an opportunity to improve. And furthermore, it also discourages other throwers from even attempting it, because when they see how the J3 has treated this young lady, why would you want to come to Jamaica to throw? There's a young lady called Belvit, who was left off the quota this last year for the World Championships, and she had issues this year, so she didn't make the team. But there are several young throwers coming up, because not everybody's a 100-meter runner or a 200-meter runner or a triple jumper or a long jumper or a high jumper. There are people out there who are good at throwing the hammer. Why do you then try to discourage these people from broadening the spectrum from what Jamaica we've seen in the last few years is a broadening of the spectrum, where it used to be just a 1 and 2, but now it's the triple jump, it's the high jump, it's the hurdles, it's so many different events. Why not include the hammer throw by encouraging young throwers to come through? So for me, it leaves a very bad taste in my mouth, and it annoys me, and it's one of these things that the J3 continues to do that rankles the general public, and which is the reason why even when they do things that are correct, then the public doesn't necessarily believe that they're sincere.
But Leighton, how is the lady going to be compensated for something like that, where somebody's blaming a hurricane for not including somebody's name? I find that shocking, disgusting, and in fact, I think the young lady has engaged a lawyer. She has to pay the lawyer. How is she going to be compensated for losing her career, really?
Yeah, look, one of the things that I love to see her do, and this is something that I say, with a heavy heart, I think she should probably take legal action against the J3s, a civil suit to be compensated for whatever potential loss, however way in which you can quantify what that loss could be.
True.
And she has a lawyer, Dr. Emir Crown, who is doing pro bono work for her now.
Well,
but because she could take this to the regular cast.
He's a senior lawyer, right? And that would cost money, the lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think knowing Emir, he'd probably do it pro bono for her, because he, like me, believes that she's been very, very heavily wronged. And these things there needs to be some kind of justice for this kind of, ridiculous behavior. It's ironic that last year she called out the J3s for not supporting her and other athletes enough. And so it almost feels like some kind of a vendetta. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it could feel like that for somebody, because we're living in an age of conspiracy theorists. So it would not be far-fetched for somebody to say, the reason why they left her off is because she called them out last year. So all of these things just help to make life a little bit more difficult for the J3s in terms of their integrity and the idea that they're doing their best to help the athletes who they represent.
But I couldn't believe that, because the hurricane was only one day. So they had enough time to meet the deadline. And to be blaming and using a hurricane, well, around here they've used a hurricane for many excuses in Dominica, I can tell you that. But to use a hurricane, to have a young lady suffer, to lose a whole carry, I think that is unpardonable, honestly.
Yeah, because the hurricane passed, and the next day was as calm. Especially in Kingston, because Kingston didn't get the brunt of the hurricane. It's parts of St. Elizabeth, southern St. Elizabeth, southern Manchester, southern Westmoreland, and parts of Trelawney that got hit the hardest. In fact, they still haven't gotten back power in most of those areas.
Yeah.
The thing is, yeah, man, my mother lives in Trelawney and she still hasn't got back. They were saying that she should get power back, I think, either today or tomorrow.
Well, this is a lovely part of Jamaica, eh? Trelawney.
Yeah, man, lovely parish, wonderful greenery. The middle of the cockpit country is a lovely place. So my mom lives been living there forever. So but the thing about it is
that is both areas as well, eh?
Yeah, man. Both is from northern Trelawney. My mom lives in southern Trelawney. The reality is that they could have found somewhere the day after to send an email to say, because they could have come to my house. They could have gone to New Kingston. The Pegasus Hotel had power. There's so many different places in the city that had power. And they could have sent an email to rectify the situation, but it wasn't. Which tells me that the argument about the hurricane and the loss of power was a weak excuse at best and an embarrassing one at worst.
Mr. Lind, looking at the track and field, I foresee it's going to be a hell of a competition. But the event that I am looking at, I don't know if you agree with me, is the 800 for men.
Listen, if the world record lasts, I'd be surprised. You remember that one meet, the one before London, where the top 6 men were under 143 now. Right. The top 3 were under 142. So, when you look at what Sajati and others are doing in this event, it's absolute madness. Because there was a time when you're on 143 and you could win an Olympic gold medal easily, or 142. No, I mean, world record was 140.9. What was it? 144? What's it? Yeah. So you're looking at a situation where we could see, because I'm told that the track in Paris is very fast. I had a friend who visited the stadium before the lanes were even painted, and he gave me his assessment of the track, and he said it's incredibly quick. So given what we've seen, and not just the men as well, the women as well, because when you look at what Keith Hodgkinson and more and others are doing,
right.
That's going to be a very fast time as well. The event, and can I tell you, the events that I'm looking forward to the most is the 400-meter hurdles for men and women. Yes. I think those 2 events are going to be off the chain, because I want to see what Femke Ball does against Sydney McLaughlin. I think Rochelle Clayton is in a position to get that bronze medal. So, I think she's the best of the rest right now. I think she'll run 52.3 or something in Paris, and I think that gets her on the podium. But I want to see whether Femke Ball can push Sydney McLaughlin, and how far can she push her to see whether or not the world record still stands up as well at the end of the day. I don't know. This is very possible. And of course, Varholm has known they've mapped out Varholm's race strategy. I think Rai Benjamin and of course Alison Dos Santos are getting closer by the day. And the thing that encourages me most is they might not get on the podium, but Malik James King in that last race where he hit the last 2 hurdles and run 47.7, Tara McMaster, and of course Rashawn Clark, all 3 from the Caribbean, Jamaica, and the BVI.
Yeah.
I believe that they will be making things very interesting for the big 3 in Paris, and I think that those 2 events are the ones that I think I'm looking forward to most to see.
But and I come back to the men 800. No, people don't understand what is happening in that 800 meters. The time has been. I'm shocked. I am totally shocked at the time.
These guys are sitting 49 high for the first lap. I'm coming back to the negative split. Yep. The first 400 are 49.8 or somewhere that every day.
Do you think that the record is in trouble then? Rudish's record that was set in 2012 isn't.
I think so. I honestly think that Rudish's record is under threat, legitimate threat too. These guys are inching closer. Look, At the meet that we're talking about, it was in London. It was the meet before that. 141.56,
Right.
141.58, and 141.61. Those are top 3 times, right? Fourth was 142.3 or something like that. It was ridiculous the times that these guys are running. And given, as you know, the coach, the use of sodium bicarbonate, in training for these athletes, what I'm hearing, that helps them to help their energy systems find more energy through these events when you're burning up energy fast. It seems it's manifesting in the 800 and the 1500, where we see Faith is running the 1500, actually running at 200 meters these days. Where she's running one below 4 minutes, like like regular clockwork. So I think the middle distance and long distance events in Paris are going to be, I think it's going to shift the paradigm a little bit in Paris as well.
But you see, these things, what it does, it makes qualifying difficult for other athletes. Such time difficult.
Very much so. Very much so, because if you're coming in the men are running 144, I think you have a chance. you might be on the outside looking in, wondering how you run 144 and not making it to a semifinal or a final, because these guys are cruising at 143 pace now. And it's exciting to watch. Yeah?
Because Kenya have, look, their first 2 is 141 something. Their first 2 top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, I can't wait to see that fight. I can't wait. Because
Go ahead. Look. Okay, Leighton, one disappointment I have though. I'm sure a Jamaican like you would be disappointed that the defending ladies champion in the 100 and 200 meters is not even in the Jamaica team this year.
Well, in Thompson-Herah, she's had her injury issues over the last few years.
Right.
And I think many were hoping that she would have been able to rebound from last year when, she missed the Jamaican individual team, but then ended the season at 10.79. Huh? And she changed coaches early in the season, and then moved over to Elite Performance. And many people thought that, hey, she's going to be back. But when we saw her race the first time, we knew something was wrong, and it just progressively got worse. I know she has a tear in her Achilles tendon, which tells me that she might need surgery. Because the thing about it is if she does surgery, she misses the entire next year.
Wow!
Right? Because the recovery period is like 6 to 9 months. If she doesn't do surgery, it could take even longer, because that tendons take longer to heal, because not much blood flows to tendons and ligaments as they do to muscle tissue. So it's going to take a long time to heal, which means that she misses 2025 anyway. She's 32 years old, which means that in the next Olympic cycle, she's going to be 35. Does she make it back at 35 and be able to run as fast as she did before? We've seen Shelly and Fraser Price do it, but whether or not Elaine Thompson can do it. I mean, we're living in an age now where the sports medicine is taking these athletes farther than ever been before. There was a time when athletes used to retire at 30. No, 30 is not necessarily the ceiling anymore. We see a lot of athletes going well beyond 30. So, it is my hope, though, honestly, that she is able to recover fully and somehow get back to the track and somehow get back close to being her best. I don't think she'll ever get back to 10.54, but I think she could possibly get to 10.6 high or 10.7 lows, which will make her competitive in the years to come. I'm really hoping that she does. But she has to make the right decisions, because I think a lot of what has gone wrong for her over the years is that she's made a series of decisions that have not been the best decisions. One of the first ones I think she made was when she left the MVP camp. Not necessarily that she left, but that she left and didn't have a coach to go to immediately afterwards, and ended up with her husband coaching her, because that to me sounds like a last gasp measure.
Hold your train of thought. I think we have a call on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Let's go back to the 100 meters. You cannot count out the Americans because they are determined, especially Noyes and Fred Curley. They are determined to perform, because Noyes, he cannot pump up, and his mindset is to break Bolt's record. That is Noyes. And you have Fred Curley there, so they will give the Jamaican a run. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But there's one thing that I will say. Do you think Noah can run 9.6? I don't think so. I don't see it in him. He's not fast enough. In fact, if you look at where Noah is in terms of his personal best that he ran just last week, 981, he's not even in the top 10 in the world all time. I mean, you're looking at starting with Usain Bolt 958, Johan Blake 969, Asafa Paul 972, Justin Gatlin 973, Nesta Carter 97, Fred Curley 976, Nesta Carter 978, Steve Mullins 980. All of these guys are faster than Noah right now. So does he have it in him to challenge Bo's world record? That's not going to happen. The 200 perhaps, not the 100. He's not even close. He's not within a city block of Bo's world record of 958. So as it relates to the 100-meter finals, as I said before, Elias will be competitive. The Americans will be competitive. Fred Curley and Kenny Bednarek are going to be right there in the thick of things. But do I think they're capable of running 9.7 lows or 9.6s? I don't think so. I don't see it happening. I see Kishane Thompson doing it, and I see Odik Seville running 9.75. He actually was 9.75 shape at national championships when he picked up that groin injury in the final, when they were in the final. The thing about it is that it's one thing to believe that you can do something, but in this particular instance, Noah is bringing it writing a check that his body cannot cash.
Okay. Well, Leighton, I think I know you're a busy man, and we've gone past the time I had spoken to you about. So we're going to contact you again, I guess, after the Olympics, because you're the expert. I mean, Lobby is our athletics man as well, and him, Dr. Fountain. So we're happy to have you, and I'm sure I will get back in touch with you. So after the Olympics, we can have you again to review the Olympics. So I just want to say thanks on behalf of the other panelists, and thank you for joining us. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure, gentlemen. It's been a long day, but when you do work that you enjoy, it doesn't feel like work. So I'm not, it was my pleasure being here, and I hope I was able to provide some valuable information for your listeners as well.
Plenty information, a lot of expert information as well. That's the thing, expert information. So thank you very much. So I'll be in touch with you. Thank you.
Yeah, man, keep the link for real. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evenings.
All right, thanks. Yeah. Guys, hold on. Before we take the break, Dr. Fountain, Lobby, Dr. Fountain is a South Sudan man, and they almost beat the United States in basketball, right? Dr. Fountain, that's what you are.
Yeah.
That was a glorious night, and then, but I said, the US would do everything in that second half not to allow them to win. And they did. They threw everything they had at them. And I think where they outplayed them a little bit is the fact that they have a very deep bench. The bench is much deeper than the South Sudan bench, But, the South Sudan team did really well, and now they're going to be the target, I think, in terms of...
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
When you look at the US team, you mentioned Dr. Fancy and the depth of the US team, that's the only advantage they have known. If you look at the last 3 seasons in the NBA, or last 4 seasons, the MVP is not an American-born player.
That's
the
true.
Rookie of the year, the rookie of the year is Wembanyama from France. True. You're looking at the world is catching up. When the United States first played in the Olympic Games with that super team with Michael Jordan back in '92,
the dream team, yeah.
There were 4 NBA players playing for the rest of the countries in the Olympic Games. This time around, there's 61. That's a much different scenario right now, where there's a quality right across the board. And the only advantage the US has right now is depth. And I think by the time we roll about to the next 2 Olympic cycles, things might be a lot different.
But the thing I was reading about South Sudan, they're independent, Dr. Fountain, 17 years now? They're not even 20, right? And they don't even have an indoor facility in South Sudan. I was reading. Is that a fact, Dr. Fountain?
There is none. And in fact, they only now, it's a very recent effort, and it's because one of the players who used to play in the NBA came back and started to develop the basketball.
That's Luol Deng, right? Luol Deng, right?
Luol Deng. Yeah.
Okay, guys, we have to take a break now. Thank you very much, Leighton. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks. We'll have to take a break now.
When you want the best, what you do? Shop at SCS. Better than the rest. Go shop at SCS. And they all confess. Shop at SCS. You get more for what they say. Shop at SCS. Shop at SES. Yeah. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. What is that? Shop at SES. SES family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our prices, they are the nicest. Madam, that's where you belong. Go tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SES. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SES. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose. When you want the best, what you do? Shop at SES. Better than the rest. Shop at SES. And they all compare. Shop at SES. You get more for less. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Yeah. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. What is that? Shop at SES. SES family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our prices, they are the nicest. Madam, that's where you belong. Go tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SES. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SES. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
The New India Insurance Company has reopened its doors in Portsmouth, offering the same great services you get in Roseau. Motor vehicle insurance, home and business owners, fire and related perils, public liability, and so much more. Come, visit us today for insurance with a personal touch on Bay Street, Portsmouth, or call us at 445-4023. We are ready to serve you.
Okay, guys, we back on the home stretch and we're going to be talking about cricket. By the way, guys, you know there was a test match started today, Zimbabwe and Ireland, eh? Zimbabwe bowled out for 210. First day of the test match. A one-off test match in Ireland against Zimbabwe. Yeah, it started today. Right. So let's get to the West Indies, guys. I mean, by the way, Louis, let me tell you, last Sunday, Dr. Fountain texted me, right? And then he asked me if I think West Indies can make the run. I answered straight no. I didn't want to go in detail. So he was very confident. He texted me again. And I said, well, never call. I don't think. Because I didn't want to go in detail. Because I honestly didn't expect West Indies to even score 250, to be honest. I didn't think they could have made 250. And Dr. Fountain, in fact, somebody told me Dr. Fountain was on Facebook, rarely speaking, West Indies are going to make the runs.
yeah. I believed up to the last minute, man. I honestly thought they would have done it. I'm telling you.
But you know, we have to congratulate Kevin and Alec. They played well. But you know, the only thing when you're a young player and if you know you're doing well, but your team not doing well, it can affect you. And the problem is West Indies not winning matches. That is the main problem. We are not winning, and when you don't win matches, other team you cannot get bigger team to play against you. You're not improving. In fact, as the West Indies guys come back next week, within 1 week they have a test match in Trinidad, against South Africa.
Trinidad against South Africa, yeah.
Yeah, on the 7th of August.
On the 7th, yeah.
Yeah.
But Sebastian, why is that so? Why is that so?
Well, that is how the thing is now. I mean, the South Africans have a 4-day game in Trinidad, and then the test match right after that.
How many test matches you playing?
2 test matches, one in Trinidad, one in Guyana. 2 test matches.
Sebastian, question. We're looking at that tour of England and England. You're looking at, and you have been always saying, echoing the fact that your best batsman is supposed to bat one down. Do you think that after that she batting one down?
Well, Alec has little faults, if you notice, he's getting outside the off stump.
Off stump, right.
No, batting at 3, if the ball is going to be moving around, you can find yourself in trouble, Batting at number 3, if you there. So it's something he has to work on. I'd rather see him where he is there at number 4. But as I say, you feel sorry for people like Mackenzie. I mean, and again, sometimes in the Caribbean, how I would look at it, sometimes Mackenzie goes to Australia, he makes a 50 and everybody thinks he's number 3. But you look at him there, he's struggling,
Sure.
He's struggling a lot.
Do you think that Chase should be included in the team?
Well, Chase is not there. So, I mean, we've spoken about that already.
Africa.
Well, again, in fact, I think almost Chase is in Canada playing T20. That's the problem. The board must be firm on those things. In fact, I was in a program on Barbados on Tuesday, and I heard a caller call and say that the board must read the Riot Act and tell guys, if you don't want to play Test cricket, we will not put you in T20. But I don't know if you can do that. I mean, there's people livelihood you're talking about, they can take you to court. So a caller called, because I had this program on Tuesday night, and said that. But going back to the thing, I think on day 1, and I said it last week, we allowed England to get too many runs. England should not have scored 400 runs. So that's where the first blunder.
Yes, exactly.
400 runs.
We talked about it, We talked about the fact that with 3 dropped catches and a missed stumping, that was a problem, really. And also I thought that as well, West Indies could have gotten a lot more runs in the first innings. I thought Sharma was a bit careless.
Very careless.
And although you could see that he was being admonished by Da Silva. He was being admonished after every ball, and he was just like, okay, we've already passed them, so that's okay. They could have scored an additional 20, 25, probably even 50 runs, and at least allowed this guy to get his century, So I thought, in a way, the first innings, we kind of missed out a little bit there in the first innings, both when we were bowling and also when we were batting. And that
we have a caller. Let's take the caller. Good evening.
Everybody.
Hello. Good evening.
I'm just calling to say good night. I was listening to my ordination.
Oh, you didn't go to it. You were listening.
No, I didn't go. I listened. I couldn't go.
As a Bido Catholic like you, so you didn't go?
I don't worry about I couldn't go. Let me tell you, Sibu, good night.
Good night.
I want to tell Ozzy and his wife.
Yeah, good night.
Sibu, let me tell you, I don't know what all this was, but 2 little comments on to me. Let me ask you all on the panel there, whether you score 100 in Barbados or you score 100 in Trinidad, or you score 100 in wherever, 100 not 100 now?
Yes.
A century not a century?
True.
No, I just saw people making comments, first person that scores century out of there and out of
well, in fact, when they say first overseas, I mean, Irvin made 100.
No, I think they got it wrong, Sibo. They got it wrong. It was just a mistake.
Oh,
because when it was first reported, the commentator said it. That was the first Dominican to score century, and then I saw it on Windies. But then we immediately put the news out there, and it was corrected. I think it was just a mistake.
Anyway, the other thing, I just saw that thing because I don't see all that talking about 100 over there on the next week. Another thing I want to ask someone, I heard some comments that if they had put they should give Roger a chance to bowl. What are your
opinion on that. No?
Well, I don't think that was. I mean, he bowled in the first inning. I mean, Hodge is not really a bowler. He can give you a few overs. In fact, you hear people talking about nonsense about all-rounder. He's not an all-rounder. He's a batsman who could come, bowl a few overs, and at that level, he's not really an all-rounder. So that's neither here nor there to talk about.
No, but Thibaut, I guess in the context of the fact that
Okay,
he
good
took
evening.
two wickets, I think it was in that context. The fact that he took wickets in the first innings and they were kind of struggling in the second to get England out. They could have at least tried him.
Obviously.
In fact, England again in the second inning got too many runs. When you look at Azari Joseph's economy rate, it's too high. 5 runs and over in test match is too high. He's going both innings going over 5 runs and over. In fact, he's total over 200 runs in test match was scored over against Azari Jones. That's far too high. In fact, Sills himself was expensive as well. So I think both innings we allowed England to get away. Both innings. We have another caller. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Sibo, I will use all the page underscore the former opener on your Lockhart.
Oh, you mean Philo Wallace?
Philo Wallace, Lockhart. And the way you pronounce your name, very good.
Yeah.
But Sibo, when you said you need to have a conversation about
about the captaincy. Oh, you were listening.
I see Andrew Mason trying to press you, boy. Press.
No, well, he couldn't trick me. He asked the question. Yeah, it's Lockhart Sebastian saying that they should replace the captain. I said no, that is not what I'm saying. I said there needs to be a conversation about the captain. That's what I said.
But then we have to come back and ask you direct. If you think that they should relieve in my own words, they should relieve Craig Bradford as captain. You said, I didn't say that.
I never said that too.
You have a conversation.
Oh, you were listening? Yeah, they tried to put me on the spot. I said no.
People, you handle yourself very good. Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
And they cherish your contribution. You could see
yeah, well, he tried to put me on the spot, but I'm not going to. It's not for me to say. I said, all I'm saying, there needs to be a conversation about the captain. It's not for me to say he should be replaced or nothing. Thank you, man. Thank you.
But
we have another caller. Yeah, hold on, Lobby. You have another caller. Good night.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Maynard, how are you, sir? We haven't heard you for a long time.
Well,
How are you, man?
Let me don't go into the
yeah, we got time is short.
Yeah, so how are you, Mr. Maynard? How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing excellent. Sometimes I follow the program, not all the time. And in this evening, I heard the track and field export, which you were discussing, very important event coming up. And the whole world would be tuned in. Track and field, I think, is competed just about everywhere, most of the places in the world. So very popular sports outside of football. But you're discussing the very important test series. Very important. We will have traveled with a very young and inexperienced team, and losing the first two test matches, it's just a matter of not applying discipline and patience and the lack of application, and also shot selection. The bowling has been very inconsistent, and as you rightfully mentioned, in reference to who's supposed to be the most experienced bowler, Azari Joseph, the vice captain, not really carrying his weight, but he accustomed to be very, very expensive. He has grown, yes, over the last year or so, given also elevated as the vice captain. So he has a very important position in the team, but with his experience playing at this level, you would really definitely expect far much more of him. Going for over 5 runs, for over, you could say, in most of the innings in this particular series is not really good enough. So
he really definitely have to be a lot more consistent. And Jason Holder, who is continued to be overrated, he has been at his best. And I know, yes, is your boy, but he has fell down, I mean, tremendously. And you said, and Andrew Mason program, that he still being the best all-arounder in the Caribbean.
But who else we have, Mr. Maynard? Who else is better? Tell me. You see, what I said, when you talk about dropping somebody, you must always say who you going to replace the person with. And that's always my philosophy. If you say we have to drop X or Y, who are you going to replace them? Who is better than Jason Holder as an all-rounder in the Caribbean? Tell me.
Yeah, I understand, but I can tell you that Jeremiah Louis has been the best fast bowler in the regional tournament.
Well, again, I will not. When you say fast bowler, people must be careful if they use the word about fast.
Fast.
He's a medium fast bowler. Jeremiah Louis is not a fast bowler, Mr. Maynard.
He's not tearaway.
Well, I mean, we don't have anybody you could say real rap pace. We might have people who maybe Azari Joseph on a good day. The guy even slow down. We're not seeing the kind of pace that we saw from Shama. We're not seeing the kind of pace because he, fortunately, in Australia, which was a very good pitch and had the condition that was suited for his style of bowling.
But I don't think he's fully fit now. That's the problem. I don't think
he's fully fit.
That's why he cannot exert himself. He's not fully fit.
That is it. That is it. That is it.
Friends with you making a very important point because he has not been playing, which he really and truly should have been here in the Caribbean to play in the first class tournament. But because of one test match, they happen to be this great, superstar. So he's automatically has been like given the opportunity to play for the West Indies team like for the rest of his career because of one test match. Because we went down to Australia, we didn't expect to do nothing really in Australia. It was a big surprise to be the best test team at home after losing the previous test match. So it was a big surprise. And he happened to came good, bowl well, bowl us to victory. So he automatically now is a big player, is a world-class player, is a whatever. But you're judging the man based on one test match. And instead of having him, as I said, in the Caribbean to play in our first-class tournament, he down there in India playing the money cricket. One match. They walk with him to the World Cup, which Sammy said, I can't wait to get him on my hand. But never played, right? So he's sitting down, doing nothing, which definitely 2020 cricket can prepare you for test cricket. So even if he played, if he had played, and
Go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I want to come in just now. Go ahead, continue.
Bowling 4 overs, which you can bowl in a 2020 match, cannot prepare you to bowl in a test match where sometimes you happen to have to bowl 7 and 8 overs based on the condition, based on how you're bowling, based on how the opponent and different circumstances. So he is underprepared, right? Underprepared. And because, as I said, the success, they expect him to do miracle, which you, as you rightfully mentioned, he's not fit. And being fit is something that it gives you the opportunity to perform, to be productive, and to execute. And he doesn't even have the experience. He doesn't have it. He happened to have a good match because there are people like Andy Gantoon. He played one test match for the West Indies, made 100, and they tell him weeks fit the next match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Gillespie from
Australia.
He scored a double 100.
As a night watchman. He was a night watchman.
He had a good day. that doesn't mean that he's a batsman, because he definitely was not a batsman. But you have many batsmen, specialist batsmen, who never scored a test century, but they're world-class players. Desmond Haynes, Richie Richardson, Larry Gomes, and I can go on. Many great players never scored a double hundred.
Okay, hold on. Lobby, you wanted to say, hold on, Mr. Maynard. Lobby, you wanted to say something.
Yes, Sebastian. You said that. Now, first of all, Sebastian, when the caller spoke about Hodge, I find to myself, Sebastian, even you, when you were a cricketer, you were allowed to bowl now and again. Even
nothing wrong with that. But
that's not. Listen to me. I find to myself, 'cause even the captain bowled 1 over. All right, I find to myself.
You sure you're bowling?
Whatever he was doing, he was bowling. I find to myself that having seen Hodge has always been contributing in Windward regional cricket. Even for, and I find to myself, you have to utilize him. You had to utilize him. I find, and secondly, I find I've never been personally impressed with Brathwaite. He looks very shakalek to me. With Dominic, shakalek. He is not assertive on the field. You're a person who is very assertive. And the question is, as you said right now, we're looking at the team we have. Who are we going to put, to replace Brathwaite?
Well, you see, that's the problem. There's a problem with leadership. If you look at even the original teams, and that is a problem that has been sorted out, even leadership. You look at the team now, as a result, in fact, he's the vice captain. That's the other thing. He's the vice captain of the team. So you don't know what direction they're going, really. You just do not know.
But Sibo, I just find to myself, that is not T20. You're looking at a test match, gentlemen, a test 5 days. I'm just saying, when you leave England a week after, you're going to engage South Africa.
Yeah, to test series. In fact, South Africa, I saw their team today. South Africa named their team.
But this to me, this is a level of madness. What I saw, listen to me, how West Indies, surrendered on that 4th day. I said to myself, we can lose, but there will be a fight going into day 5. We were 61 without loss. Some of you gentlemen, 61. And wickets started tumbling like as if it was you're in mango season. It shows what is telling me that the players are not fit. To play test cricket, which Sebastian, any form of cricket, with 4 days, 3 days, 45 days, you have to be fit and you have to be ready.
Mr. Yeah, let me ask Mr. Maynard a question. Mr. Maynard, you're from St. Kitts. How people in St. Kitts looked at young Louis, Michael Louis? How have you all been looking at him? He's looked good in the 4 innings, but he just hasn't gone on. He only has the highest score of 27.
Yeah, you're absolutely right in terms of the score. But I can tell you that there are many greats who started their inning with their career. Like, for instance, Lara scored 5 runs in his first test inning.
Richard scored 3 and 4 in his first test in India. 3 and 4, 1974. 3 in the first inning and 4 in the second inning, yeah.
Right. So it took 4 years from 1954 to 1958 before he scored 100. And when he scored 100, it was the world record, which was 365. Sanjay Paul batted so many innings before he scored a century. Many.
Mr. Bernard, hold on a while. We have a caller there. Hold on. Let's take this caller. Good night. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, Sibu. Hello, back.
Dr. Fountain is here as well. Yeah.
Yeah. The last match there, I find if you pick a cricketer to play, whether you're a batsman or a bowler, you should be.
Can you speak up?
Speak up a little louder, please.
I said if you are a bowler or a batsman, when you pick a West Indies team, you should be able to hold your bat. Able to bat too. Last match, this other Joshua Silva,
Mm-hmm.
he kept on there calling on, trying to save the man. I mean, if you had to draw a match, let's say one day, last hour or something, and there was no more this, I can understand. But there are times he said he could have scored 100.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he's seen they're trying to save Shama, trying his best and getting so much singles and doing all that nonsense, and have the man doing all that. When you click on a West Indies team right now, you should be able to hold a bat and score. It's like anybody like Morty or anybody fellas who score in the run. This thing of shielding, man. That is cricket again. That's the finish. Except if you have an opportunity, if there is a chance to draw a game or something, or perhaps, you can do that. So that will kill it a little bit. The question now, I understand there are some people who are sick now. People like, who's that? Kelvin? One of them, I think. One of them is sick. He got a blood on his arm.
No, he has a broken hand. Sinclair has a broken hand.
Sinclair.
Yeah, against Wood. One he got hit on his hand. He broke it.
And then Shama Joseph, I understand, not too.
He has the flu, so that's why Jordan has been included in the 12. Shama Joseph has the flu. So he's not sure to be available tomorrow.
It means that we still have a situation where we might be short. This is a
flu.
Back in one down.
You mean Mackenzie? Mackenzie.
I find they should give somebody else a chance.
But you see, as I said on Tuesday, on the radio program, the two people that can replace him, there are two batsmen there. You have Sinclair and not Sinclair, Tabin Imlak, right? And you have McCaskey. The Friday game that was played, neither of them scored runs. McCaskey failed in both innings, Imlak as well. So, and they haven't played since then, since the first Friday game. So you're going to be picking people who haven't played cricket for a couple of weeks. So that's the dilemma they found themselves in.
Well, sometimes they might get your phone. I don't know. No, Hakim Jordan, no, about I hate talking about him.
Well, he's a fast bowler from Barbados. Apparently, he was in England playing cricket. But again, guys, Dr. Fountain Lobby, Isaiah Fun, the young fast bowler from Guyana, was in England. He played him the practice game, and he sent him home to play in the under-19 in St. Vincent. So I don't understand what they're doing, really.
Well, but I find holders should sit down. It was somebody else. They don't do nothing. They're not batting. They're not doing nonsense. They're not taking wickets. And even our vice captain too. I mean, okay, he's vice captain now, but I don't think there's a need. I don't think we should be looking towards a vice captain who can be able to hold his bat and take the ball. The vice captain so much runs, score, so much runs on his bowling, and at the same time, he's not scoring runs or doing anything, and have even batting so high and so on. Even hold the batting before Joshua Brazil. It's nonsense happening.
No, but what I didn't understand, guys, Sinclair came batting before the Silva. I didn't understand what's happening. Yeah. I didn't understand it. What they're doing.
What happened there? I don't know what happened there. Yeah. However, I'm a concerned listener and partially realize me, but you know me all right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That was in the second innings.
Yeah, Dr. Fountain.
Yes.
Right. No, I'm saying that was in the second innings. They would try to see if they could stem the hemorrhaging, So it was okay. I don't think it was anything better.
Because I was wondering what happened there.
They were trying to stem. They were trying to, hoping that Sinclair would come and stem the bleeding.
Yeah. Mr. Maynard, you're back with us, right? Mr. Maynard?
Hello.
You're back with us, right? Hello?
Yes, Sibo. Mr. Maynard.
Okay, go on. Make your point. Yeah, go on. Yeah, good night.
Yeah. Good evening, Sibo.
Hi.
And Mr. Fountain and who else is there?
Lobby is there.
Sibo, I don't see much wrong with that team, England is a very difficult place to play cricket. I played a lot of cricket in England, top cricket as well. When you play in England, it's completely different when you play elsewhere. You've got to play close to your pad, right? No, because the ball moves so much and it moves at the last minute. You can get 4 different weathers in one day. You can go in there and you can bat the first innings, then come for lunch after that, 4 different weathers, right? So we didn't have enough time to climatize. We didn't have enough time to practice.
That's the first problem.
One game, right? The young fellas, the new fellas inexperienced, I always know they will take a bashing, right? But we have to look at that as, an experience, a learning experience. Young players, the players, they're good players, just lack of experience. Batting one. Bowling, the other thing is that you have to learn to bowl in England. With a new ball, you have to bring the ball up, give the ball time to move. But not bring it up far enough, because if it's on a full length, they're going to hit you. You mustn't bowl too short, because the ball, once you bowl short, the ball moves so much after it hits the ground. You have to hit the ball on a length. You have to know, you have to have the experience. Why we had our fellas doing very, very well earlier? Because we had most of the fellas playing county games, because they knew the situation. I wouldn't fault the fellas too much. Lack of experience, lack of playing in England, and that type of thing. And the only real disappointment, I wasn't happy with the way they played, but the only real, and you can see the fellas as class. They just need to learn. They need more experience. The only real disappointment I have is where Holder is batting. Holder is not good enough to bat at 7.
Well, he's batting at 6, in fact. He's batting at 6.
That is even worse. Holder is a number 9 batsman, in my opinion.
9? No, I wouldn't agree with you at all. No.
Well, in my opinion, Holder is a number 9 batsman.
You know Holder has a double 100 in Test cricket against England? You know that?
Not in that team. Not in that team. Not in that team, but Holder should not be batting.
Okay, Holder had 3 Test centuries. Are you aware of that?
In the past, you're talking about the past.
No, I said, no, I'm talking about... So who is better than him there to bat at number 6?
On current form, he was not on my team.
Huh? De Silva should bat better than him.
But listen, okay, hold on. You said De Silva. Do you know the last 10 innings before this 84? Do you know De Silva's scores?
Yes, I know De Silva.
Okay, tell me, listen, do you know what his average was before he scored that 84? In the last 10 innings before?
De Silva have a better defense.
No. We don't know about defense. You say about Holder scoring run. I'm asking you, before he scored that 80-something, do you know how many runs De Silva had scored in the last 10 innings before? Dr. Fontaine, tell him you have it right there.
No.
Hold on. Dr. Fontaine, give it to him.
He was averaging 14 in 10 innings.
Yeah, but if he's present form, he was averaging 14 before the 82. 14, that was his average, De Silva. In fact, he should have been dropped because he hadn't scored a run for the last 10 innings. His average was 14.
In this England series there, De Silva looks a better batsman than Holder. Better defense. I'm talking about where you're playing. Because in the Caribbean we can play through the line.
How many runs did Silva scored in the first Test match?
I can't remember. Yeah, but his defense was better than Holder.
In the first Test?
Yes.
Anyway, that's your opinion. Anyway, caller, we have to come.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Well, guys, we can't take any more calls. I see all the lights going.
We forgot to mention the under 19 competition.
Well, Barbados won the today, Dr. Fontaine. Win was not doing well at all. In fact, they were bowled out yesterday for 97 by Jamaica. Lost the game.
Yeah.
90. No batsman. The batsmen haven't been scoring runs at all. Pascal hasn't scored runs. Fontaine doing very badly. Windwards. I can tell you that. They're playing tomorrow again, I think, against Guyana. But yesterday, Windwards were bowled out for 97 and lost the game against Jamaica. Not doing well. And Barbados won the two-day competition. The 50-over competition is currently going on. Started. So that's what's happening. Windwards just not doing well. Not doing well at all. So, So, yeah, that's it. So, on behalf of Dr. Fontaine, Emmanuel Loblack, Lambi there, Ronald Land, as I said, he was in a CO, not like CO like the other people have it, but he was having some CO. By the way, today was his mother's 89th birthday, Dr. Fontaine, today.
Oh, okay.
So, he was having some C. Still now, I hope he didn't have too much Galbanzo or whatever it is, Zaid, whatever. So, I hope it's so very now.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So, guys, next week we'll be back. This test series will be over. We'll review it next week, Thursday. So, on behalf of everybody, let me say good night to everybody. You'll hear us again next week. Good night.
Good night.
Dominicans, insure your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, insure your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
All you where in Roseau, Kimashadis, you can just walk in and order all your chicken parts, wholesale, and even enjoy retail. It's at AC Shillingford, all chicken parts available that you can afford. Fresh breast, and you know breast is the best. Shillingford wings have muscle. After you eat it, you can fly. As for Shillingford chicken drumsticks, even